Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The first containers of tungsten have been transported off King Island, with the mine officially reopening 30 years after being shut down. It's promising to provide a boost for jobs and the local economy, but shipping the critical mineral is presenting logistical challenges though.
King Island's dolphin mine sat dormant for 3 decades, but now there's movement again. The first containers of tungsten have been shipped away, creating around 100 jobs here.
We've fully employed now everyone that we need for the project. We've got to retain those people, make sure that they're happy to stay with us and work.
Tungsten is a robust metal with a wide range of industrial uses. While demand has dipped in recent months,
I think the most positive thing is the tungsten price has remained strong. And I think, that's another good positive indication that things should pick up.
The company is looking to ramp up production from 2 shipping containers a month to 4 or 5 a week.
It's been a challenging period, I suppose, with global inflationary pressures, labour challenges and the logistics of the island.
The mine is located right next to the port at Grassy, but it's a small port serviced by a barge. Newer ships are too big to access it, and shipping schedules are easily thrown off course by rough seas.
We want an expanded port to be able to fit in these bigger ships, to be able to get them into a safe harbour in all weather and reap those those economies of scale that will come with that.
It can also affect livestock exports and goods getting onto the island, currently delivered from Victoria via Devonport or Stanley.
They can lose a week of shelf life by the time they're delivered here and put on the shelves, and it also increase the costs. And similarly with exports from King Island going the other way.
The state government has committed to reviewing a feasibility study from 2008 into a possible expansion of the Grassy port in light of changes to the island's economy and shipping services. It could prompt further action. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A motorcyclist who died in a crash in Launceston last year was high on methamphetamine, disqualified from riding and attempting to evade police when he fatally collided with a sedan. A Coronial report finding the April 14 incident, which claimed Harrison Jared Tucker's life, was entirely his fault. The 21-year-old suffered critical head, chest and limb injuries when speeding through a red light near the seaport, losing control of his motorbike. Coroner Simon Cooper also found police in pursuit of the rider acted appropriately. Hobartians are feeling the pain of a public transport system in crisis. Metro is axing 64 northern suburb bus routes between Mondays and Thursdays, with 80 services also cut from Friday's schedule. Meanwhile, the Eastern Shore hasn't been spared either. Clarendon Vale, Tranmere and Risdon Vale falling victims to the cancellations.
The suburbs that are most affected are the suburbs where people really do rely on public transport. Public transport is not a luxury, and for many people, they can't just jump in their car if their bus doesn't turn up. They have no other option.
The government says it's supporting Metro to manage this issue in a professional and careful way. 50 years after women first won the right to equal pay, many are still calling for a level playing field in job opportunities and earnings. Not-for-profit organisation Dress for Success has joined the move. It prepares hundreds of women for work every year.
Calls for further action this Equal Pay Day.
Today we're calling on workplaces, on employers to make sure that they do everything that they can to give women equal opportunity when it comes to participating in the workforce.
Dress for Success in Hobart is one of many organisations continuing to fight for women to receive the same pay, benefits and expectations as men at work. The growing service provides free outfits to around 20 women per week who are struggling with the cost of living, giving them the best chance of gaining employment.
Mothers coming back into the workforce, it could be women that have done it tough and they just figure that they need a few more dollars.
So it's about how do we get women into leadership roles? How do we get them up and into management roles so that we get much more parity, 50-50 representation.
Despite Tasmania having the country's lowest gender pay gap, there are calls to do more, given women are more likely to be employed in casual or insecure roles.
but it's still not good enough. We're still looking at a 13% pay discrepancy between men and women, and we can do better.
A figure which is actually closer to 28% when you include part-time work and payments such as overtime and bonuses.
We want to be working with the community to deliver on equal pay for all Tasmanians.
But there has been some positive changes, including gender equality and job security being added to the Fair Work Act. But despite this, 50% of women still felt dissatisfied with their current salary. A mutual call felt across the globe.
They're saying to us, we just want to know that our organisation sees us.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmanian News.
Hobart's rental market is getting even tighter, recording the largest drop of available properties in Australia last month. Despite the fall, new PropTrack data shows Hobart still has the second highest vacancy rate of all capital cities, sitting at 1.75%. Meanwhile, things are slightly better for regional Tasmania, which shows vacancies rise by 0.02 percentage points. Experts say property availability is likely to remain at an extremely low level for the next year. Tasmania's peak body for farmers has raised a solution to help alleviate the state's housing crisis. The TFGA is lobbying the state government to change planning laws, allowing farmers to build dedicated workers' accommodation on their properties.
The planning laws only allow one building per title. We want that changed so that we can get more farm workers living on the farm.
The state government says local councils have the flexibility to make planning decisions based on a farm's operational requirements. There are 6 confirmed cases of gastroenteritis at the Launceston General Hospital. 2 wards remain locked down following multiple reports of patients and staff with gastro-like illness.
It's been carefully managed with recommendations to stay away if at all possible, to ensure that we don't put undue pressure on the hospital at this important time.
15 others are experiencing symptoms. The refusal to allow an ice-breaking Antarctic research vessel to travel underneath the Tasman Bridge for refueling is facing more scrutiny. Green Senator Peter Whish-Wilson has hit out at the decision, which will see the Noyina instead travel hundreds of kilometres to Burnie. It's a move he says could seriously jeopardise time on the ground and threaten Australia's reputation in the Antarctic Treaty.
If we can't even work out how to refuel our icebreaker in our home port, what does that say about us and our competence?
Senator Whish-Wilson is calling for urgent solutions to address the issue. A Tasmanian shipbuilder says its latest project could be a game changer for how we travel by water. Incat is currently piecing together the world's largest battery-powered ship as the move to clean and green technology continues to gather speed.
It might not look like it, but this will help keep the shipping industry on an even keel in a net zero world. Hundreds of Tasmanian workers busy above and below deck on a build like no other.
The environmental pressures around the world are mounting, as everyone knows, and the desire to go green and emission-free is becoming more and more apparent.
As you can see, it's slowly come together.
This Ropax ferry will service passengers on the famous River Plate between Argentina and Uruguay. At the heart of the 135-metre vessel will be a history-making electric battery. With storage of more than 40 megawatt hours, Incat says it's 4 times larger than any other marine-powered installation.
Similar to an electric vehicle, you know, you have the capacity. The boat goes from point A to point B in its daily operations.
A change in thinking during COVID, bringing the South American customer to Hobart.
When his business came back online after COVID, he talked to us about what was possible in that space.
The ship slowly taking shape as large parts of it start to piece together.
Very exciting, being the world first. A lot of new challenges for us.
The multi-million-dollar vessel is expected to sail down the River Derwent and onwards to its new home in 2025. Incat is in a buoyant mood, saying this build will change the industry's thinking.
When we get this right, there's going to be a huge marketplace. A lot of people are looking at it and doing what we're doing, but not on this scale.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmanian News.
A Tasmanian grocer has shown its true colours on Wear It Purple Day. Hill Street has committed to donating 100% of its purple produce profits to the Wear It Purple organisation, which fosters safe and inclusive environments for LGBTIQA+
We chose this particular initiative because it aligns with both what we strongly believe in and also recognises the large number of young people that we employ.
We strongly believe that you can't be what you can't see. So the splash of colour was really important in our support of this cause.
It's an important initiative with people identifying twice as likely to face abuse and violence, according to Beyond Blue. Tasmanian produce will be back in the spotlight, headlining the return of a popular spring culinary program. 2 weeks of marvellous menus and exciting events are being served up, with the North Festival locked in for another year.
Transforming the heart of Launceston into a foodie's dream.
What's not to love about Tasmanian food? Our food and drink offerings are incredible here.
The North Festival is back with a bang, pouring a lengthy lineup of experiences set to celebrate the city's rich food culture.
The venues here have so much that they do creatively, their hospitality is incredible, so it's just about bringing people into those spaces in a new and exciting way.
From paddock to plate, the award-winning program aims to foster relationships between eateries and suppliers.
Getting the producers involved is so important because it's an educational piece too on telling people where their food is coming from.
There is so much to experience when it comes to food and beverage, and it's such a sensory thing.
Now in its third year, organisers are promising 2 weeks of spring delights in October, tapping into the Tasmanian sunshine with the menu offering something for everyone.
It's about getting people back out of their house after winter, so we've just had a few months of cold and it's nice to embrace some of that warmer weather.
We've added much more kids offerings this year, which I think is a very exciting addition to the festival, making it more approachable.
The festival on track to be the toast of the town. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
The advancement of breast cancer treatment was the focus of a women's health brunch in Launceston. Ulverston-born Dr Chantelle Thornton specialises in breast cancer and melanoma and operates the clinic in Melbourne. She says the loss of a close relative to cancer motivated her to become a surgeon.
I really didn't want anyone else to have to go through the process that she did. I saw her dying of breast cancer. I saw her die of breast cancer.
The event raising money for the Clifford Craig Foundation's medical research programs. Meanwhile, undergoing cancer treatment is a testing time for many Tasmanians, but facilities like the WP Holman Clinic aim to ease the burden on patients. A survivor grateful for the support of the service ahead of Daffodil Day.
When Leslie Freak was diagnosed with adrenal cancer, she was told she didn't have long to live.
The cancer I have is 1 in a million and the life expectancy is about 2 years. So given that it's now over 10 years, I think that says something for the care at the Holman Clinic. So I've really appreciated that.
The Cancer Council is hoping stories like Leslie's will encourage Tasmanians to donate for research with Daffodil Day around the corner. Hundreds of patients across northern Tasmania using the Holman Clinic's integrated services.
Cancer focus is important now than it's ever been, with up to 10 Tasmanians every day receiving a diagnosis of cancer.
The Health Minister touring the facility this afternoon, thanking those who support Tasmanians during their treatment, also promising that the state government will be behind them all the way.
We will absolutely continue to support the Holman Clinic. They've got quality care. The services they provide is professional.
As for Leslie, she would like to see more support programs catered to other types of cancer.
Whoever the people are, when they're newly diagnosed or needing support to manage the more complex cancers, that they can actually have that support like other people do that's proven to be so successful.
Mark Zeta, 7 Tasmania News.
In the TSL, Clarence's coach says their destiny is in their own hands heading into the final fortnight of the regular season. The Roos sit a game clear of Launceston in the race for a home elimination final, but their last 2 games are tough, facing North Hobart tomorrow, followed by the ladder-leading Tigers. In a year where they've used more than 40 players, the coach says he's pleased with where they sit.
Considering that, we have to fold so many players up, to be sitting third at the moment with 2 games to go, it's pretty exciting for the club. We're giving people opportunities.
First bounce is at North Hobart Oval tomorrow at 2 p.m. Tasmania has ended the group stage of the Netball National Championships with a loss. It was a tough first half for the Wild, facing off against the QBE Swifts Academy, who sat joint top of their pool at the start of the day. The Swifts raced off to a big lead early, up by 13 at half-time. Tasmania did score freely for the second day in a row, but couldn't do enough, eventually going down 76-48. Finishing 5th in their group, they'll play off for 9th place on Sunday. Stuart McSwain will go for gold at the World Athletics Championships over the weekend, after dramatically reaching the final of the 5,000 metres in Budapest early this morning. In a tough and tense heat, McSwain appeared to be in contention before disaster struck. The King Island runner was clipped in the closing stages of the race, eventually finishing 19th. But the race referee intervened, awarding him a place in the final. McSwain races for gold on Sunday morning, Australian time. Tim Payne won't be on board the cane train this summer, with the former Test captain heading interstate. The Tasmanian has signed on with the Adelaide Strikers for the upcoming BBL season. Payne will link up with Jason Gillespie as an assistant coach, as the Strikers look to win the competition for the first time since 2018. It's the 3rd coaching role he's taken on, with the wicketkeeper also involved with the national under-19s and Australia A programs. The NPL title might be secure, but Devonport says there's still unfinished business this season. Fresh off a midweek win over Launceston United, the Strikers face South Hobart this weekend ahead of the upcoming final series. The coach says there's no room for complacency.
Make sure that we're in the right mind space, ready to go for Saturday, and not be too hung up on, well done, we've already won it.
Devonport's women's side, meanwhile, is looking to secure 2nd place with a win over Kingborough.
We've also been working on other game plans that we can use to break down teams' defence. We just keep doing what we're doing and we should be finishing in a good position.
Kick-off is at 12:15 p.m. tomorrow. The Jack Jumpers have some fresh new threads for the upcoming NBL season. The squad will be putting Tassie on their back, literally, with a print of the Apple Isle there. The home green uniform also has an ant print on the sides representing the Ant Army of supporters. But the home whites are no more, with a predominantly yellow away kit this year. They go on sale next month.
Good evening. Hobart and Burnie, 15 degrees today. Launceston reached 17 and Devonport 16. St Helens was our warmest, 19 degrees. It was 17 at Friendly Beaches. Flinders Island 16 today. Low Head 14, Bushy Park 13 and Strawn 12. Scattered cloud right across the state, apart from the heavier overcast conditions over the west and north. Low-level cloud over the New South Wales and Queensland coasts today, along with southeastern Australia, a bit brewing south of WA. Tomorrow, a high extends a ridge over most of the southern states. A trough sits over inland Queensland with another over central areas. Southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, tending variable during the day. Swells still up around the 5 and 6 metre mark in western and southern waters. Cold night tonight, and a frost warning has been issued for the central north, northeast, Midlands and east coast. So after a cool night, a cloudy day for Hobart tomorrow, a top of just 12, 9 for Maydena, maybe a shower, 9 also for Oatlands after a cold start. Launceston's temperature range 1 to 13 and partly cloudy, 13 also for Devonport, morning frost for Lyowini, -2 the overnight low there. Burnie 12, 12 for Strawn with a shower, Marrawar cloudy and 12 degrees, so cool all over, 13 for St Helens, Swansea 12 and just 12 degrees in Orford. On Sunday another cool start followed by a fine partly cloudy day. A little warmer on Monday and fine apart from a possible shower over the northeast, and on Tuesday partly cloudy over the east with a few showers for the rest of the state. 23 in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy, and 18 in Adelaide. Cloudy weather for Melbourne, fine and partly cloudy in Sydney and Brisbane, and of course Darwin, the pick of the bunch. Mostly cloudy in Hobart at the moment, 8 degrees, 11 in Launceston, and cloudy in Devonport and 9. I've got to get the footy tips in this weekend, Kim. Collingwood, Hawthorn, what do you reckon? Gold Coast, yeah. Brisbane Lions, Port Adelaide, Geelong to beat the Bulldogs, and of course the Swans. Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Gee, how long do you want? That is all your news for this Friday evening. Lou will join you for our main 6 p.m. bulletin tomorrow night. Up next is Better Homes and Gardens. But for now, on behalf of the entire 7 Tasmania News team, it is good night.